This is the genius who cracked the casinos and made tens of millions of dollars. Imagine a man who for nearly 2 decades outsmarted slot machines and orchestrated casino heists worldwide. Starting in Vegas, his initial exploit banked $10,000, and a few years later, that number had grown to $2.5 million per day. He did it by continually creating ingenious devices that fooled casino technology, even as it evolved. His reputation as America's most wanted casino cheat flourished after he led a crew of cheaters into unloading Las Vegas for $44 million. But who is this man, and how did he outsmart pit bosses, investigators, and even the FBI? Join me as we unpack the story of the most notorious casino cheater in American history. Growing up in Oklahoma in the 1950s and 60s, Tommy Carmichael's childhood was surrounded by rapid technological development. With a deep-rooted interest in how technology worked, this was the earliest influence in his casino cheating journey. Carmichael's curiosity led him to establish a TV merchandise and repair business in the late 1970s. As an adult, he opened Ace TV Sales in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Initially, it was a roaring success, standing out locally as the first of its kind. However, as more shops emerged, business started to struggle. His talent lied in understanding technology and how it worked, not in running a business. During this time, Carmichael was also grappling with personal challenges, including his third divorce and fulfilling community service for prior drug convictions. It was the lowest point of his life, and drastic change was needed. You see, this story isn't just about manipulating machines and beating the house at their own game. It's a tale of a man that was determined to turn his life around and defy the status quo. In a surprise twist, an old friend from high school turned up at Carmichael's failing workshop. Knowing that Carmichael was in financial trouble, his friend, Ray Ming, claimed that he had acquired a device that would change his life. The device was known as a top-bottom joint. But how did it work? Intrigued, Carmichael wanted to know more, so the pair acquired a second-hand slot machine to understand exactly how and why the device worked so well. After dismantling the machine and practicing with the device in his workshop, they decided to hit Las Vegas for the first time. At the time, jackpot wins were paid out when the slot machine's 3 spinning discs aligned to complete a circuit. Now, most people relied on the machine's random distribution to trigger a jackpot. But Ming and Carmichael stacked the odds in their own favour with the top-bottom joint by placing a metal rod shaped like the number 9 in the top coin slot, while simultaneously sliding a bent piece of wire up the bottom of the machine's coin dispenser. They were able to bridge the gap in the machine's circuit, hence the name top-bottom joint. The result? A jackpot payout every time. But this was just the beginning, as he would soon take his cheating to a whole new level. Carmichael would frequently travel between Tulsa and Vegas, spending several months at a time exploiting Vegas casinos before returning back to checking on his shop. However, at the end of each trip, he found himself making more and more money from the casinos, whilst shop revenues dwindled. So eventually, he closed the shop and went full-time cheating slots. It was the turning point that marked the start of a darker chapter. Now reliant solely on cheating for his income, he was determined to avoid being caught whilst winning even bigger. Now, you might assume that casinos were on the lookout for someone tampering with the slot machines, but Carmichael went to great lengths to avoid suspicion. He deliberately targeted smaller machines with lower jackpots and less oversight before progressing onto the larger, more intense Las Vegas casinos that had additional monitoring. Later, he revealed that he made more than $10,000 in his first trip. Adjusted for inflation, that's around $37,000 in today's money. But it didn't end there, because Carmichael managed to keep these trips to Las Vegas casinos up for a number of years. As fate would have it, his effortless income stream was about to encounter problems. Las Vegas started to phase out their traditional slot machines, replacing them with newer, computer-based interfaces. These newer machines were more advanced, with computer chips triggering the coin drop. Quite frankly, the top-bottom joint was useless against them. But he'd been here before, so he took a step back and started to look for innovative ways to beat the house once more. To Carmichael, this wasn't just about money anymore. After all, he had enough. It had become a game of cat and mouse where the thrill was cheating those greedy casino bosses. So he embarked on a quest to reverse engineer the system's secrets and gain an advantage once again. But the casinos were one step ahead this time, upgrading their machines with random number generators. Consequently, he shifted his focus to smaller gambling venues that lacked this advanced technology. However, the move made him more conspicuous, drawing attention from private investigators that had been paid by the casinos. His information was then passed on to the police, who monitored him round the clock. The landscape of the game was shifting, and Carmichael was about to encounter an entirely new set of challenges. On the 4th of July 1985, Carmichael was sat in a Denny's parking lot sipping on a mid-afternoon coffee when chaos erupted. Police officers swarmed the facility and searched Tommy, finding a top-bottom joint in the process. He claimed that the device didn't prove anything, but the police just wouldn't listen. As they see it, they were serving swift justice on behalf of the casinos. And as a result, he faced a drawn-out legal case culminating in a 5-year prison sentence. Now, for many, such a setback would be a deterrent, but not for Carmichael. In prison, he met Michael Balsamo, another casino cheat who was incarcerated for similar crimes. Together, they collaborated and started to work on strategies to use after their release. As the release date approached, the pair were eager to re-enter the casino world. Unbeknown to the casinos, they were about to face a new wave of ingenious schemes and tactical manoeuvres. But shortly after Carmichael's release from prison, a groundbreaking type of machine was released. It was known as video poker. These machines boasted advanced random number generators and microprocessors, which made things a lot more complex. Eager to crack these new machines, he faced a practical hurdle. He now lacked the funds to do it, having spent time inside. In a surprisingly ordinary move, he took on several part-time jobs, each paying only minimum wage. Whilst diligently working these jobs, he saved every penny with a clear goal in mind: to purchase one of these machines. 6 months later, and he was dismantling his newly purchased machine. Immersed in this new venture, he dedicated all of his time to deciphering and testing the machine's triggers. Within a year, his hard work paid off, paving the way to his latest invention, the monkey paw. He'd dreamt of this moment for a long time, and finally, he was ready to cheat Las Vegas again. This ingenious device, crafted from a flexible steel spring, was designed to trigger a hidden switch in the payout chute, prompting the machine to release coins. The game was on, and Carmichael was back in action, eager to see if his clever invention could once again skew the odds in his favour. With the monkey paw in hand, Carmichael was ready for his next major stunt. The plan was simple: to test the tool in a real casino, undetected.
Won't cave under pressure. I go on for days.
He chose his target, entered, and made his way to the video poker machines. Deftly sliding the monkey paw into the machine, he triggered the switch, and to his delight, coins began cascading out. It was an exhilarating success, outmaneuvering the casinos at their own game once more. But there was a problem. The casino surveillance soon made them aware of Carmichael's new monkey paw. They were determined to make life hard for him, and as word spread, many of Las Vegas venues knew what to look out for. His cards were marked. Now, for a time, the monkey paw was lucrative, but Carmichael realised he needed to stay ahead of the game. Targeting new machines, he devised a cunning plan. Posing as a customer, interested in purchasing the very latest slot machines, engaging with the machine salesman, he asked them to open up one of the machines and explain its inner workings. He couldn't believe his luck. They let him see inside. This was the fast track to his third creation, the most lucrative of them all. Poised for the next stage of his strategy, Carmichael remained unfazed. He named the new device the Light Wand. This ingenious tool was capable of tricking the more advanced machine's optical sensors into dispensing money when the player hadn't won. But this time, he didn't keep his invention to himself. Being known by some of the casino's security teams, he decided to sell the Light Wands to other cheaters along the Las Vegas Strip. At less than $5 to produce, the markup was immense. Other casino crooks were paying $10,000 per light wand and making their money back within a week or so. His success was so immense that he took a hiatus from Las Vegas, indulging in gambling cruises in the Caribbean. Using his tools on these voyages, he amassed nearly $100,000 in 6 months. Upon returning to Nevada, he teamed up with Raymond Piera and his old accomplice, Michael Balsamo. With the newly created tool, they decided to establish a formal cheating team, recruiting additional members, each with their own expertise in casino deception. It wasn't long before the secret team of cheaters were raking in millions, because they were meticulously organised with specific roles assigned to each member. The strategic approach not only amplified their success, but earned them a formidable reputation. While some members cheated, others played the role of lookout. They kept a vigilant eye on the security personnel and strategically positioned themselves to obstruct surveillance cameras. With this meticulous plan, in a short period of time, it's reported that the group were recording profits of $2.5 million each day. They hit the house so hard and fast, Las Vegas didn't know what was happening. To avoid detection, they kept irregular patterns and would occasionally venture to Atlantic City too. During this period, Carmichael began a relationship with a stripper called Lisa that he'd met at one of the casinos. But trouble was just around the corner as Balsamo got caught using a light wand by the police. The tool was confiscated and handed over to the FBI, which eventually led them back to Carmichael. Balsamo's records had revealed repeat contact with him via Las Vegas phone numbers. The Nevada Gaming Control Board collaborated with the FBI agents to wiretap Carmichael's phone and monitor his calls. Once more, his cars were heavily marked. Simultaneously, slot machine manufacturers had introduced ticket in, ticket out slot machines. Unlike traditional slots, they no longer accepted coins, which rendered Carmichael's light wand obsolete. But he refused to surrender, so he retaliated with a new tool known as the tongue. His relentless determination to cheat the house didn't waver. Against all odds, he was hellbent on beating the system. Now, the tongue was a deceptively simple device designed to exploit a critical vulnerability in the newer generation of slot machines. These machines utilised an optical counting mechanism that tracked the machine's output with the use of 3 lights. The tongue was specifically designed to move strategically in front of these lights and dupe the machine. Carmichael discovered that by making the middle light flicker, he could trick the machine into thinking that money had just been inserted, when, in fact, it was just his tool. It was another crafty, ingenious move. Although the tongue didn't guarantee a jackpot, it gave the user endless credits to play with. However, in the ruthless world of high-stakes casinos, he was playing a dangerous game. The casinos, with their vigilant surveillance and enhanced security measures, were working double time to unmask this high-stakes cheater. And the tide would eventually turn on Carmichael when his lucky streak took a dramatic twist in July of 1996. For nearly 4 years, Carmichael and his crew had outwitted the casinos and reaped the financial benefit. However, one ill-fated visit to the Circus Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas changed everything. Unbeknown to them, the casino was alert to their activities shortly after their arrival. While they were emptying the casino's machines, security guards grappled Carmichael to the ground, with the police arriving shortly after. The team didn't realise, but the casino had newly installed surveillance cameras that could bypass their blockers. Without them, they would never have been caught. The mastermind, who had consistently outsmarted the casinos, now found himself facing more jail time, but Lady Luck was on his side this time. Initially, he faced charges related to the possession and manufacturing of cheating devices. However, the evidence against him was weak. The authorities couldn't detain him for any longer than 24 hours, leaving him to walk free. But Carmichael's troubles were far from over. Still determined, he was arrested again in 1998 and once more in 1999. The law was relentless in pursuing justice for the casinos. For several years, he was engaged in expensive legal cases. The year 2000 marked a significant turning point though. Carmichael found himself implicated as a central figure in a nationwide casino cheating network. The consequences were severe. He was sentenced to 326 days in jail and received a 3-year probationary period, during which he was mandated to maintain good behaviour, and additionally, the court prohibited him from entering any casinos for the duration of his probation. As he faced the repercussions, the millennium brought a pivotal moment for Carmichael. So in an effort to rehabilitate his image and appease the authorities, Carmichael agreed to collaborate with the Nevada Gaming Commission. This time, he would develop devices to prevent slot machine cheating. Utilising his expertise and skills, he would now aid the casinos in identifying and blocking cheats. In 2003, Carmichael unveiled his most notable invention, dubbed the Protector. a tool specifically designed to obstruct the use of cheating tools on slot machines. However, his past continued to cast a long shadow over him. When the Nevada Deputy Attorney General, Jennifer Calvillo, expressed skepticism about his anti-cheating device, she said, quote, "He says he has developed an anti-cheating device for slot machines. However, that device can be readily converted into a cheating device." Coupled with his notorious history, the Nevada Gaming Commission added Carmichael to Nevada's Black Book, automatically banning him from entering any casino in the state. In response to their decision, Carmichael claimed, "They cannot stand the thought of me righting a wrong." He continually claimed to be a reformed character, asserting that he no longer had any interest in cheating slot machines. He even boasted, "I could beat them in a heartbeat if I wanted to." A statement that reflected his confidence but also underscored the dilemma he faced. Now, despite his pledges of change, the casino were not prepared to gamble. Much like Carmichael, they were only interested in playing with a stacked deck, which is why so few people managed to beat the house. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next upload.